Hello, welcome to the 30th of March. On this day, 42 years ago, I was born, and I got to choose what we did as a family today, and we went to an art gallery, and it's the first time I've been to a gallery in 2 years, and this sculpture was one of the pieces there, and it was the new gallery in Kassel. Hello, Klaus, already in with the drawing hand emoji. If you are here in the live chat, please say hello. Let me know where you're from. If you're watching the replay, let me know where you're from too, because I want to know if you're in different time zones and you're watching this at a different time, because I have some thoughts on different time zones that I'll be sharing throughout the stream. Thank you, Ingrid. Hi, Anastasios, Cheryl. So we went to Kassel today, which is 40 minutes from where I live. And there are a lot of galleries and museums there. And it was an interesting experiment, taking my 3 children there. We decided to go there because it was raining today. And I really wanted to go hiking, but with the little people and the cold and the wet, we decided let's go somewhere where it can be dry. Thank you, Klaus. Thank you, Irene. Thank you to all of you for being here, sharing my birthday with me. Little corner. Let's do this sketch, shall we? I'm going to try and keep this one fairly brief because it would be nice to spend some time with Kira this evening. And daylight savings has changed. We are now in daylight savings mode. So this is now... I can't even figure it out. Is this an hour later than yesterday? Is it an hour earlier? I don't know. But things are going to be changing with this daylight saving stuff, and I'm going to talk about that a bit now. I'm on my pencil spread, so let's start drawing. By the way, this sculpture, as well as a whole lot of others, was made by Karl Friedrich Echtermeier, and I'll talk a bit about what this sculpture is. Apparently, it's Germany, a marble statue. And it was very strange to me, I thought. But I'm going to crop this. I'm going to leave the crown out. I'm not so interested in the crown. Little Corner says it's actually 10 p.m. in an Arabic area. Cool. Which Arabic area is that? Thank you for joining from wherever you are. Rachel. I'm the same age as your youngest daughter. That's very cool. Interesting. 1983. The year of the pig. It was. Let's draw. So, I'm cropping so that I'm not really, I don't want to draw the crown. These sculptures were beautiful, but I also thought it was pretty strange. And there's a lot of things that are strange and interesting about what was going on at this place. And it got me thinking about a lot of things about art and idealized ideas of things. It's interesting. Let's talk about that a bit, shall we? Let's draw. I'm going to put a timer on just to see. I'm going to go for 10 minutes and see what happens. So pencil spread, cropping the crown. The crown is just at the top of the page, and I don't want it. So this was interesting. It was in a hall of this new gallery, which... Kassel was bombed in the Second World War, and I just read today that the new gallery was set up to house the surviving work of old masters, and apparently a lot of the work that was in Kassel had been sent to Vienna for safekeeping, and so a lot was destroyed. And now there is this gallery, which also has some contemporary work in there too, which was interesting, and old work. And there was this hallway, which was full of these statues. I think there were 8 of them, and they were all marble women, and they were supposed to represent 8 artistic countries, European countries. And there were some things in there that were pretty weird. But these faces are beautifully sculpted. And it was interesting. It was just, everything was so bright. There was a lot of natural light coming into the room. the sculptures were interesting, and the kind of symbolism that was chosen to represent each country that was represented was strange. The strangest thing I found, that England, the figure that was supposed to represent England, this one, Germany, by the way, was like, it looked like was putting a wreath on the head of a bust of Jesus, presumably. I think that's who it was supposed to be, which it got me thinking about all sorts of things about why I think that's weird. And the one of England, there was a woman posed leaning on an obelisk that had hieroglyphs on it, and I was just like, I didn't feel good about it. And it was interesting to go through and see these things and wondering, like, what was it like at the time? What were people's understandings of the world, and what is the role of the artist in depicting these pictures? And it was supposed to be this idealized concept of what each of these countries. Oh, you cannot see my drawing. There we go. Thank you, Maya. Oh, that was super bright. Sorry about that, but here's my drawing. Yeah, interesting to be there. And when I would really love to see, the last time I went to a museum was what's it called again? Is it Museum of Contemporary Art in Antwerp, which was really, really cool. And yeah, there's a lot of stuff there's so much beautiful painting. It's like old master stuff. And I remember growing up and going to the art gallery in Adelaide in South Australia and seeing work and kind of thinking it was, amazing, just transportative. And there were some images there which, although through the lens of a kind of Eurocentric colonial kind of approach to thinking about other places, it's kind of interesting to think there's like the experience that many people would have had of the world beyond where you live would have been through art, and these depictions, these stylized, idealized, fetishized ideas of what the rest of the world is like. It's interesting to kind of experience that and think, like, raises a lot of questions, I think. But it's interesting as well just to be in a room that is full of, like, technically incredible work that people have made. And there was some pieces in there, some landscapes, one huge portrait, which is a full body painting, but was just like incredibly painted. But an interesting feature of my time at the gallery was that I was there with my 3 kids, and they just like went through every room, looked at everything, and I wasn't like a quarter of the way of looking through things, and I was going pretty fast. And then Kira came with the kids and like, they're finished. I was like, okay. And so I didn't really have a lot of time to kind of be with the images, but still I felt like there was some really beautiful work in there, and I'm glad I got to see it. Do people have like favorite galleries and stuff? I wonder about when I had the good fortune and the privilege to be traveling in my early 20s. I went to a lot of galleries, and it would be part of my, like, when going to a new place, just figuring out, okay, where are the galleries and the libraries and museums, and it seemed to rain a lot back then. It feels like it doesn't rain much anymore, but I would spend a lot of time indoors looking at art, and and it was a special time just to be in the presence. Like, so I was reading a little bit about Karl Friedrich Echtermeier, and just like wondering about the life led. Some of his statues were molten down during World War II, so he died before, he died, I can't remember, like 1901 or something. Yeah. But I just wonder what was, like, these blocks of stone that were then with like the knowledge of the material and experience. So just coming up with the ideas is one thing, but being able to take a piece of stone and make it look like it's a soft human, it's a pretty amazing thing to be able to do. Buenas noches, Luis. Nice to have you here. So that's like the drawing, and I thought this was really interesting. We're almost finished our shadow shapes themed month, and the shadow shapes here were really interesting. And this photo is actually like a lot darker than I was experiencing these statues in this room, and that's something I thought was interesting too, because I've seen something that showed like these statues of antiquity that are often like associated with Greek and Roman era, that they would have been colorful and vibrant, and the way they're presented to us in a contemporary setting is of this like white, cold, solemn, deathly feeling, that they are not enlivened and adorned with color. They're incredible in their just like being able to turn stone into something so soft and alive, but still so cool and hard. Like that's incredible. But the era of history that this kind of symbolism it's trying to kind of echo, that apparently all the statues that we kind of associate with being white and kind of, I don't know, there's this like classical look, that they would have been colourful back in the day, or like when they were built and when those cities were inhabited, that they would be repainted with fresh colour, and we see them kind of as an echo of what they would have been back in the time when they were in the times of antiquity, I guess. So that's also pretty interesting to have them presented in a way which is trying to be reminiscent of a historical era in which they would have all been perceived very differently. So yeah, there's a lot of interesting things about it. Thank you, Lewis. All right, that was 10 minutes. And now that you can see this, the first few minutes, this was completely overexposed and you couldn't see what I'm doing. So thank you for staying here. It's great to have you all here sharing my birthday evening with me. All right, so now that's like the first pass, and now I'm going to like fill in those shadow shapes, and keeping it fairly brief today. And this was something we were talking about last night. There was a shadow shapes drawing session for Let's Face It, and Adam posed a really cool suggestion in the Discord server. Anyone who has access to Discord can join the Discord server, and I share the references there, and people are sharing their work there, and there's a suggestions channel. And Adam suggested in my tutorial, which I hope to get filmed tomorrow on shadow shapes, Adam made some really cool suggestions about like noticing the less obvious variations, how to represent things. So they were really cool suggestions. Thank you so much, Adam. And I will look to addressing that in the tutorial. And anyone who's interested in following along with instructional, educational tutorials, in addition to these daily live streams, which are available for everyone, anyone interested in the tutorials can check out my Patreon. The link is in the description below. And I wanted to talk about time zones, and I wonder where you're all from. You missed it. You missed this much of it, Corinna, but you're here now, so that's lovely. So daylight savings has changed. Maybe that's why you missed it, Corinna. And I may... So I'm going to have to see like how it goes with getting the kids to bed and stuff. Like it always kind of rocks the boat a bit, daylight savings. And I asked in the beginning, I wanted to know what time zones you're in, because I may start alternating doing... I'm not sure exactly. I will let you know. But the idea is I may do a live stream during the day and do live streams at evening, like alternating with the daily live streams instead of doing them all in the evening, because it has been quite a commitment and something that I love, but also in our family dynamic. It means often in this time, like before getting the kids ready for bed, which is not a relaxing time of the day, that I have to kind of withdraw, and so it would kind of be good for me to be more present and involved with that. And also free up some time in the evening, potentially to be with Kira, or for Kira to do things as well. So the idea is that, and I will let you know, nothing is decided yet, but it could be that I alternate evening live streams and daytime live streams, so that in my working time, when the kids are at school and kindergarten and stuff, that I will do live streams. So then I imagine a lot of people, it'll be interesting to see who has time. And maybe some of you who come regularly to these sessions will also have time then. Maybe some of you will be asleep. Maybe some of you who are asleep now during the live stream will be awake and can join live streams that are early in the day, my time. So it'll be interesting to see what form that takes. But either way, you can watch the replays and you can keep drawing along, participating with the daily drawing practice. That was something I wanted to let you know. Yes, Cheryl, correct. Right now, I'm 9 hours ahead of Pacific time in the States. That is right. Isidore, bonsoir. Yeah, so I thought it was really interesting, just this idea. I wonder if any of you, let me know if you've experienced similar things or if you haven't. Like going to a museum and seeing work that seems it was created in a cultural time, which now when I look at it, I think, oh, this is like, it's interesting to have that glimpse into, what people were, what society or ideas were like back then in a certain kind of sphere of society, that like to be like, oh no, like a lot of the ideas that are presented, I don't know, it's difficult for me to be with. I think it's interesting, something that my dear sister said once was that hearing some people saying things that are growing up in Australia, I think there was a sense of like it's weird. Like there's certainly this Commonwealth connection to Britain, and I think implicit in that is a casual racism, which a lot of people have, and just a lot of things, and also this is a topic I may talk about often. So if you've heard me talking about it in the past, it's something I think about a lot. But a country that was built on the dispossession of the people who'd been living there forever, just like stolen, and things that people have said, people from an older generation, it's like when they say these casually racist things, which are terrible, no matter how casual, to be like, it's not okay to talk about people like that, and for them to be like, oh, but it's just how it used to be. That's how it was. It's like, it wasn't okay then, and it's definitely not okay now. And and now with this kind of, I don't know, constantly, growing, learning, seeing how things unfold in the world and how people and institutions and governments interact with the world. Some of the stuff I feel like in this kind of made these, like, I wonder, it's all up to him, or like the people who are financing his existence through creating beautiful sculptures. Like, how much are they like, we want it to have this and this and this, and of course it's got to have this. There was something helio, like fine art, old art that we see and moves us. It was all pretty much all commissioned art. And in the world we live in now, there is a lot of kind of expression and the artists doing their thing, and art as a political tool, making a statement. And back in the day, the statement was often what was being paid to be made. and we get to see these sculptures, or paintings that can really be touching and beautiful, and they all exist in the context of who was able to commission such a thing. This is kind of interesting layer of awareness to have, which I think in my early 20s, when I was traveling, going to all these galleries and stuff, like, I think my I've learned a lot since then. and it's good to keep learning and to keep kind of discovering a new context, a new understanding, and I think it's an interesting kind of question, like to aesthetically see the beauty and enjoy a thing, and at the same time kind of be like, nah, what is the message? What's being conveyed? Who even got to see this? Like, is this like, it's great to have kind of institutions that are open to everyone, but is this like a lot of stuff like who? Yeah, I don't know. It's such a tricky kind of balance and relationship, like, of the people who are paying for the stuff to be made, who have, I would imagine, quite an influence upon the narrative. But they were facilitating a development and an unfolding of ability and understanding, like all of the. Oh, that was second 10-minute timer, and I feel like I'm nearly done. All of the great art that influences us, like the whole history of art making, that we, in whatever way we practice, somehow we are in the lineage of, even if we don't know who these people are, but the whole kind of the whole idea of expression through making images. It's like we kind of partake in it and tap into it somehow, even though we are, as I discovered today, like just seeing new art, which is hundreds of years old, like we're unaware of most of everything. That's probably, in general, that is the fact. But you can go somewhere and see paintings that are like amazing, and it's like, wow, This person has been dead for hundreds of years and have no idea who they are, and look at this beautiful painting. Like, how does the art exist? Is it possible for the art to exist like free of the context that it was initially commissioned to be made in? Interesting things to think about, I think. What's everyone else think? Okay, Lewis says it's having a slight delay in the live stream. How's everyone else doing? Sometimes if there are issues with the live stream, some people have refreshed, just like hit the refresh button, and it has like fixed the issues. Because to me, it looks like I have, my frame rate is good, I have excellent streaming connection, and that's it. And that's it for the portrait as well. Thank you very much for joining me. Feel free to write in the comments any on this day or any future days. If there's anything that I've said that you would like to respond to or contribute to, then please do so. I said that I would show Procreate photos at the end of these live streams because I have a Procreate workshop coming up. And this is actually, which one? This one's really cool. Tori Cherry, who was our first ever guest on the Drawn Together show. This is Tori. This is an image that I made inspired by a photo of Tori. And I used it like in my promo image of the Procreate workshop. Let's see here. Oh, here's the color overlay, changing the colors. This is like a mustard yellow color laid on top of this one. And shapes in Procreate is what the workshop is going to be all about. And a little bit of line work here, but even here, the eyelashes and the highlights on the eyelashes, it's all just shapes. So this is what the technique that I'll be sharing on Saturday in the workshop, the 5th of April. Shapes in Procreate. And if you're interested, you can go to dylansara.com and get a ticket. And it'll be great. I look forward to hanging out with you and working in this manner in the Shapes in Procreate workshop. And it's fun to go through these color overlays. Sometimes things will happen and I'm like, oh yeah, wow, that's so cool. And sometimes it's interesting, the original colors I had here, this is nice, kind of nice and dark. But I really like, these are the original colors that I worked in. And this is really cool too. So yeah, that's it for today. Thank you everyone. That's right, put your drawing hand emojis in the chat. And share your work. If you're sharing on Instagram, you can tag me at dylansara. Here. I don't think you can tag Carl, but you can tag me. And I will put the Discord chat, the Discord server link in the chat. And you can join. 313 people as of right now. So cool. A couple of days ago it was under 300 and now it's 313. That feels like a nice number. And yeah, you can go to the daily reference chat. I need to, right now, thinking of that, I need to update. If you go to pinned messages, you'll find the most recent 50 pinned photo references. So if you just want to go through and look at the photos and find the photos, you can do that by going to the pinned messages on the daily reference text channel on the Discord server. If you're not familiar with Discord, it can take a bit of getting used to, but on the side there's a list of different conversations, and if you go to daily reference you'll be able to find that. And I would love you to join. It's a really super cool opportunity to just hang out, draw with each other, share work with each other. And thank you to everyone who is there. And as I mentioned, tomorrow I'm going to film my shadow shapes tutorial. So if you're interested in catching that, then subscribe to my Patreon. The single tutorial will also be made on demand. You can pay for it and just watch that one, or you can join by supporting me monthly to create these tutorials, and you get a new tutorial each month, and you also get to access the archive of tutorials that I've made. So that is something which helps me do what I do. And if you appreciate this, you can give me a like, you can subscribe to the channel, join Patreon, and if you're super interested, you could join my mentorship, which is going to be starting the end of April, or the second half of April. We're going to be starting the next round of my mentorship, where we can get really involved in the process together, and it's really fun. I'm looking forward to that next phase. Cheryl says some are missing. What's missing? I'm not sure, but thank you for watching, and thank you for drawing along, and I will see you tomorrow and every day. We're doing this every day.